Thailand, number 6, Thailand is like the USA. Thailand is like the USA. So complex to explain all this, but things are not as they appear. The USA is being cleansed. On the surface, the USA runs on capitalism and justice. I always like to talk about the law, no one's above the law, no one's above the law. But of course, tons of people are above the law. Till this day, the Democrats that lied and provoked the assassination attempt on Donald Trump and hid the Jeffrey Epstein list, till this day, they're not prosecuted. So there are lots of people above the law. And so what do you have in America? Exactly the same system. So on the surface, we're told, and I think it was a good attempt, we're running on capitalism. We're running on Christianity, let's say, first of all. This is why America hasn't sunk, because there's that foundation. Christianity gives you a solid foundation of morality. So there'll be some people who will be honest and have integrity no matter what. So you got that foundation. You layer on that honesty and self-interest in capitalism, right? Enlightened self-interest, Adam Smith would have called it, in The Wealth of Nations. So you layer that on top. You got Christianity, you got capitalism, and then you've got a justice system that is supposed to be kind of the correcting mechanism if something goes wrong. The justice system is supposed to come back and say, okay, we got to fix this. This deal is not good. The way that the government's handing out welfare or protecting certain monopolies is not good. We got to get rid of this, or we got to increase the tariff on that. Okay, so you've got that. That's what it looks like, right? But in reality, what you're running on is Baal and Balaam, the Lord of the Flies, the demon of demons, is there running through the sewage of Hollywood and Washington, D.C. Baal's at the bottom, the other foundation of America. And then it runs on bribes, right? Bribes is the next thing. So instead of capitalism, it runs on bribes. And this is how guys like Hun Sen and Thaksin, they would go in, and the bribes would be, sometimes they're legal, right? I'll give you a free phone. I'll give you 100 free phones to you and your family. You'd be the first one. But I want a position on this. I want that. So positions are taken by bribes, not by meritocracy. Somebody paid somebody, and then you get the favor to get that position. And the price keeps going up. So you got Baal, the demon, bribes. That's how you get your positions. And then if you're in the position and you don't behave, there has to be a correction mechanism, or they don't behave, they don't comply to evil. So what they do then is the correction mechanism is not justice, not the good court, it's blackmail. So then there are files and recordings of everybody who's been involved in the bribes, all their conversations, all their hotel visits, they get recorded. And this is what I think is happening right now. I think Hun Sen, the de facto leader of Cambodia, who's running the country through his son, who's incompetent, has so much blackmail, because he's the clearinghouse, has so much blackmail on Thaksin and his family. You see, so at high level, this is what happens. But the news that you get is just pure empty propaganda to make your head spin, to treat it like a soccer match. But what's going on is there's war between the two evil sides. So they're clearing each other out. They're exposing each other because it's God's season of justice. So the Bible shows that the evil in the Bible, evil fight against each other. Say, why? Why would they do that? Why would the Moabites suddenly turn their swords against the Ammonites or all the other ites? Many times in the Bible, it shows the enemies, as the Christians pray, as the believers pray and say, oh God, Yahweh, Elohim, the God who's going to give us the Messiah, spare us, save us from this torment and this injustice and the suffering that we're going through. God turns the enemies, because they got so much blackmail on each other. He turns the enemies against each other. And then when bad things happen and you see that the government appeases, they don't do anything. On the news, they'll say, oh, we're seeking diplomatic channels. We always want to negotiate first. They always say that. The reason is we're never going to respond because they have so much blackmail on us. We're never going to see the Epstein list. Jeffrey Epstein is alive somewhere, most likely, and He's got so much dirt on it. We want him to go away and let's not talk about it. And it's not like Trump is a bad guy. It's just your hands are tied when the whole system is running on bail, bribery, and blackmail.